So here are my wash day results. Super fluffy, stretched, soft, and voluminous hair. I'm going to show you how I got these quick and easy results from start to finish while experimenting with a few new products and tools. My thoughts on everything new that I'll be using will be on the screen as I walk you through this look and this new hair journey that I've been on, dealing with all this gray hair that I've had growing in. So this is what I'm working with, guys. For the past 4 months, I've been allowing my gray hair to grow in without dyeing it. And don't get too excited. I'm not sure if this is going to last, but because it's such a glaring white light now right at the front of my head, I've been having a lot of conversations about it in my everyday life. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about how I feel about it and, more importantly, why I feel this way. So my gray hair actually started growing in pretty significantly over 4 years ago. And at first I embraced it. The grays were only at the very front of my head, like little highlights, kind of like Stacey London from What Not to Wear. And to me, it looked chic and sophisticated. So I embraced it. I really loved how it looked. And you guys online are also loving the look. But then something happened. Right before the world experienced the pandemic, my personal life suddenly and unexpectedly changed. I was blindsided by my relationship of nearly 20 years ending, and although it wasn't perfect, I had always felt a sense of safety and reliability in it. But when that relationship had to end, all of the truths of what I thought I was and what I thought my life was instantly disappeared, and I suddenly felt really vulnerable and unsafe. I felt like everything in my life was a lie, and I could no longer trust myself, other people, or what I thought was real in my world. To make things even better, following that, the world entered an unprecedented time with the pandemic, and I found myself a single mom helping to homeschool my children, running an international business while also going through a nasty divorce and all the energy and loss of income that comes with that. I also entered cosmetology school when I realized that the pandemic wasn't going to be temporary, because it was really the perfect time for me to earn my credits without having to travel all over the place for work. And with all of this on my plate, I had barely enough time to make dinner, let alone film and edit YouTube videos. A lot of people think and have this misconception that if you have $1 million company, you personally have $1 million. No. Smart entrepreneurs put that money back into the company and back into the processes. And so as a smart entrepreneur who cares about the well-being of her company and put her earnings back into it, I now had all these responsibilities piling up and not enough time to create the content that would help me pay my bills, my divorce, and my kids' tuitions, my tuitions, etc., etc., etc. All that to say, the stress was piling up, and I started looking like what I was going through. My cutesy little highlights suddenly became high and low lights, spreading all over my head from the edges to the crown, the back, and the kitchens. I started seeing bags under my eyes from the lack of sleep, and my weight began increasing as well, most likely from all the cortisol. My circumstances were directly affecting my appearance, and I could no longer recognize the woman I was looking at in the mirror. I was going through a lot. And I was getting through it, sure, but I felt like my circumstances had control over me and not the other way around. On top of that, I was only 34 around this time. I had no right looking like a great grandma. If you haven't experienced this before, something strange happens when your hair starts to turn about 25% gray. People start to count you out. Society puts you into a box that I wasn't in when I only had the cute little highlights in the front. It's almost like you disappear. I'm in no way looking for dates right now, but you'll catch an eye here and there at the grocery store, but not when you have gray hair. As soon as someone sees the gray, it's almost like a sign that you're either taken, in a relationship, or a woman that is settled with children and not looking for anything else, or someone that's resigned themselves out of the dating pool altogether. I can't quite put my finger on it, but you're just ignored. It's like they don't see you. You're just a walking gray hair to people. And I wanted people to see me before they saw my gray hair. Also, I'm in the beauty business, and gray hairs are notoriously high maintenance. Gone were the days of a cute little messy bun. No, the gray hairs had taken over in a wiry electroshock-esque type of look where they stick up and stick out everywhere. Frankenstein, okay? So keeping the gray hair in neat order on top of everything else was work in itself. So what did I do? I decided to dye those suckers. I was done. Donezo. I literally had enough. So many people tell you to accept your gray hair. It's a badge of honor, of wisdom. But really accepting, and I mean truly accepting and being happy with your gray hair, to me, I feel like that's a privilege. I felt truly happy truly happy with my gray highlights when I felt safe and protected, when I felt safe in my life and the people that I knew in my life, and I felt like I could trust the world to embrace me as I was. As soon as I no longer felt safe and protected, as soon as I lost trust in my closest life ally, as soon as my life began to take over, I felt like a buoy that was floating on the waves of life as they crashed into me, taking hits blow by blow. I no longer felt safe and confident to wear my gray hair. As I felt the responsibility start to pile up and that loss of control over many aspects of my life, the one thing I felt I could control was how people in the world viewed me, how I looked to society, at least. And so I took control of my aging appearance in the mirror and my graying hair, and I dyed it. And for a long time, this served me well. I was happy to ebb and flow on the waves of life with my youthful black hair and youthful looking face. When I got enough rest or makeup, I just needed to feel like how I looked was in my control as I tackled each other issue in my life one by one. So it's just a friendly tip for anyone watching or listening to this. When you see someone dyeing their gray hair, I know you're trying to be nice and trying to empower them to love themselves when you suggest that they stop dyeing their hair and embrace their gray hair instead. But sometimes them dyeing the gray hair is them loving themselves. It goes both ways. You can love yourself by embracing your gray hair, but if you feel unsafe or like you need to take back control in your life, loving yourself can take the form of coloring your gray hair as well. It's one easy and quick step to get you on your way to making more significant changes until you can figure out the rest, and both of these reasons are valid. When I dyed my gray hair, it was because I needed to see myself in the mirror. I needed to know that who I was looking at was me. My life had changed so drastically and so quickly. In literally a matter of 4 months, I was living an entirely different life. And when you feel like you've lost almost everything you thought was a constant in your life, the last thing you want to lose is yourself. So dyeing my gray hair was a step that helped me get through my hard times. So here I am now letting my gray hair show. So what exactly happened? Well, I'm a natural girl at heart. I really hated having to apply all those chemicals on my hair so often. And also my hair grows so quickly. Darn you, Melanin Haircare, you award-winning amazing products, and my genetics helping to grow my hair. But my hair grows so quickly that I would dye my hair, have it nice and dark for a total of 1 week, and then my gray roots would show for the next 3 to 5 weeks until I was finally ready to dye it again. I would be looking crazy. So do the math on that. I'm looking rough for 5 weeks to look good for 1 week. It wasn't making too much sense there. Yes, I have an amazing root powder to use in between, but it's not as glossy and vibrant as my natural hair color or as a dyed hair color. And also, it's just annoying to have to use one, especially right in the front of my head all the time. So one day about 4 months ago, I realized that it was time to recolor my gray hair. And I just looked in the mirror and said, no, I literally can't keep doing this. I'm going to color it, and then in a week, I'm going to look exactly like this again. So I decided to see what happens. And that's all. I'm seeing what happens. I'm currently in the awkward state of growing out my gray hair where you have that awful line of demarcation, but it's looking better than it did a month ago. And I got this far already, so I really don't want to be turning back. But I will say this, I have a lot more gray hair than I realized. Look at the back of my head. When you let it all grow in at once, you really see the damage. Okay, and I'm only 38 years old, y'all. You see how hard I be working in my business? Your girl is working. So yeah, I'm really just happy with my progress. Somehow I feel that me being able to grow my hair out like this just shows that I'm healing and becoming more comfortable with the new me and in my new life. And that's why I will never judge someone for dyeing their gray. You never know what they're going through and why they need that additional support. Now that I'm healing, I feel safe, I feel protected, and I'm ready to see where this next journey in my life is gonna take me. As for the grays, the back is looking crazy, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm thinking I'm gonna let this grow out just a bit more to see what the real damage is. And then I'm probably gonna allow my front gray highlights to grow in and just dye the back. I really like that contrast that I used to have with the gray in front and the black in the back. Plus I can dye my hair less often if it's only the back of my head because there's more ways to cover it with like hairstyling options. And that means I could probably go back to dyeing my hair with henna because that took forever to complete, which was why I switched to chemical dyes. But since I'll be doing it less often, you know, the henna process that takes forever wouldn't be as big of a deal, and it's the healthier hair dye option, which means it would be healthier for my hair overall. No matter what I decide to do, I'm definitely going to be leaving my gray highlights in the front alone. I don't want to thin out my edges with the chemical hair dyes anymore. Plus, the front of my hair was the biggest culprit that was always making me look crazy when the grays grew back in, so it's really not worth it. But yes, I'm excited to say that I'm embracing my front highlights again and letting them grow in. Progress, growth, healing. Anyways, guys, I'm rambling now, but let me know if any of this resonated with you. I think the process of growing gray hair is something that's really under-discussed. There's a lot of nuance to it. On one hand, it signals to society something that maybe you're not ready to signal, or it could be something that is completely untrue and you're just having a stressful moment. But society puts people with gray hair like into this box and then shuts the lid on them. And I'm not ready to have that lid shut on me. On the other hand, being able to gracefully accept your gray hair is something that I think everyone wants to be able to do deep down. But your circumstances in life, how you view yourself and how you want society to view you is a huge and essential factor here, as well as the amount of safety and protection you feel as an individual to like openly express your true self. Hair dye definitely acts as armor with that. If you feel that you can openly wear your gray or salt and pepper hair in the world, no matter how it looks, please know that you are blessed. I hope that we can all get through our transitions with grace, but I know that for some it will take time. It did for me. Others may not be ready at all, and that's okay too. There's really no right or wrong. In life, we have so many journeys to travel, and this is really just one of them. But I have to admit that I am thankful to be here and to have made it to this next experience in my life. So thanks guys for listening to me ramble on about my new hair journey, my gray hair experiences or lack thereof. I'm really excited to allow it to grow out even more and then actually take that plunge and decide to either keep it or dye the back. I guess stay tuned to see what I decide to do. But yeah, let me know if you have any similar experiences. It's been really interesting to kind of think about it as time passes. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one.